Well, have you discovered in your own business that sometimes you fear taking a new path? There's this big fear of what? What is the fear? Hello, Sigrid Cast here, high impact, high profit book writing, publishing, and marketing specialist. And today I want to share with you all about how I help people overcome their fear to write. That is still a large area that a lot of, especially women, hold back. They have this great idea. They know there's a lot to share, and yet fear holds them back. Does it hold you back? Feel free to leave a comment if that is the case. So really, let's ask, what is fear? Well, fear is something that we all have, and it is a natural part of our being. We need fear so that we don't do things that actually hurt us. Sometimes we don't know if something is going to hurt us or not, and we have to take that step and find out. But most of the time, we fear something that isn't real. It really isn't there. Now, I can assure you, I'm the first person who feels a fear on a lot of different things, and it's taken time and practice to overcome a lot of different fears. The fear I'm talking about is one that is partially real and partially not there. So let me use an analogy to explain to you what I'm talking about. I did recently get this really fancy, beautiful, let me see if I can make it visible for you, this beautiful Ecovacs vacuum and mop machine. And of course, I had to put it as an app on my phone. Now, for me, that is a huge fear of how am I going to use this app? How and where, am I going to find how to set it up, where to start, the timing, the type of cleaning. The big problem I always have is I don't see what's on the screen. I don't understand what they are saying. Sometimes, and you might have experienced this in other ways, you get a manual with something that you want to set up and use, and that manual was written by someone who's never used the machine in the first place. It's explained in such an awkward, difficult way. Or, like I have experienced, for example, with this particular gadget here, that I just can't find where things are. They seem to be hiding behind the screen somewhere. And I have a real fear because I can't find what I need to find, whether that is to switch it on, to switch it off, or to program it to do something different. I carry a fear. Now, why? Why should I fear not being able or not finding how to program it, where the programming section is? Why should I? Completely irrational, don't you think? So why does that happen? I have no idea. Probably something from some experience in the past. And that type of fear that you might also feel with your phone, with setting up something new, with reading instruction manuals and not being able to understand how to use the gadget or the item that you bought, this fear around, is this not going to work? Of course, what comes up is, maybe I'm just not very clever. But that's not true. You know it's not true for you. I know it's not true for me. It's not true for most people. This fear is created out of really nothing. For me, it is really out of nothing, but it is there. Now, you can, of course, ask somebody, ask a friend to help you, which, of course, I did with my vacuum cleaner setup. And you can ask and just keep going over and over. These days, there's a lot of things out there that you can get your help to overcome this fear, whatever the fear is. So in this behind the scenes tour today, behind the scenes of how I work with clients to write a book and overcome that fear, I want to share some very simple steps to overcome this fear of writing. Now, the fear of writing most often is directly associated with, what if nobody likes my book? What if I start and I can't finish? What if I write and put it out there and I get some bad reviews? What if somebody puts a bad post comment on my profile somewhere? What if the actual book gets a bad written review? Those are usually the biggest fears people have. Now, they are not real or realistic. Those things can happen, of course, but they can happen to you now with anything you put out there into social media. Somebody can put a bad negative comment out there for you. So what? What do you do if that happens? Now, usually I either say nothing or I say something positive, or I ask a question what the person means by the comment that they've made. So we already are out there, visible and exposed to getting that type of comment that we fear. So writing your book in a way is similar to that. Eventually, when you finally break through to get started, this fear will possibly be there to some extent, unless you really work on your own mindset to overcome that. But here are the steps that I take, help my clients take to overcome this fear of writing a book. And it is very much something that we all do in some way or other. And I've already said to you what I did to get this app on here, and you probably do this now in other ways. You ask somebody to show you how to do what you fear because you don't know how to do it. So really, one of the biggest parts or pieces of fear that people have, aside from being exposed with their name on their book and getting bad comments, one of those fears is just don't know how to get started. That whole journey of writing your book. How do you get started? Now, get some help. I am open to take on clients and help you step by step to write your book, from the initial research and planning stage all the way down to launching it. Writing, publishing, marketing. All of the steps are there. And here is what clients experience when they work with me on their book to overcome that fear of writing. We start with planning. We have a very clear plan. We have steps and we have all the parts in place before you start writing just one word. Don't start until your plan for your book is in place. And this plan consists of exactly what your book is going to be about, who you're going to write it for, what these readers, this readership is looking for to read from you. So you are writing it for people who want what you are writing about. Now that's a great thing already right there, isn't it? Because you can be fairly sure that those people want what you have. You give it to them. They're going to like it. You're writing it for a readership that wants to know what you're writing about. And then we map out very clearly exactly what goes into your book and what not. So we are mapping that out before you get started. We are creating, in other words, a kind of a framework. I don't want to call it a user manual. That is going to be confusing. A framework into which you put the content that you already have, your expertise, your experiences, everything you want to write about, this vision that you have, that you want to share, this message that you know you want to tell the world. We talk about all the details before you write one single word. That is the best way to overcome any fear, anything lingering around. What if this? How about that? We talk about it together. We dig into what that fear really is, and we work on where are examples that this fear is not real. Like I've already shared with you a couple of ideas, sometimes the fear of, why am I afraid of putting an app on here and not being able to set it up properly? What is it? Because everything goes haywire and I can't find anything, I can't see anything. Yes, but so what? So if somebody comes along and helps me set it up, I feel perfectly good after. Getting that help is brilliant. So when you get my help, that is what we'll do. We dig into what are those fears that you are having? What is going on for you? Why are you having those fears? What does it really mean? And here, let's map out your book in detail before you write anything, before you get started. With that framework of what you're going to write about, you have that confidence back that you already have in your business in saying, oh yes, this is what my book is about. And because we also work on and think about and research your type of positioning and marketing around your book, you can already put into social media posts about that. Hey, this is what I am going to create. Would you like to know more about this or this? All of this will be in my book. My book is coming out. I'm in the process of getting it ready. Those are the types of words you will create and post already as you start, once we have the framework, the plan in place. You see, every time you do something in your business and you get the clarity on what it is you want to achieve, what is this outcome you want to get to, you get not only from that clarity the desire to achieve it, but that motivation to want to, the desire to moving forward, getting into action, all of that comes naturally to you. That is how I help people, by mapping out before you start writing in detail what each chapter of your book is going to look like, who you are writing it for, what you want to achieve with your book, so that you feel aligned with everything you're going to say, everything you're going to put into your book. And if you'd like to have my help, there are several opportunities to speak with me directly. There is the book an appointment with me. There is a mastermind coming up this next week that you can easily jump on and have a read what that is all about. Again, that is on my profile. Check it out, or send me a direct message and ask any questions that you might have in regards to book writing, publishing, or marketing your book. And certainly feel free to ask about, why are you fearful, or what is the fear that you have? And let's work out how to overcome that together, helping each other on that journey to get that book out there that is so important for the world to read about who you are and what your message is. Sigrid de Cast, high impact, high profit book writing, publishing, and marketing specialist.